Welcome back, everybody. I'm Tommy McCarthy. We're Cyber News Global, and this is Let's Talk Cyber. I've got a doctor with me this morning. I asked her about a few ailments that I had, and she said, no, I'm not that kind of doctor. So she will be telling us a little bit about herself. Dr. Nicola Harding. She's a criminologist, and she focuses on cyber fraud and cyber crime. And this morning, we're going to talk about We Fight Fraud. Nicola, welcome to Let's Talk Cyber.
Thank you very much.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Nicola.
Yeah, so I am a doctor of criminology, and I'm also the CEO of We Fight Fraud. We Fight Fraud's a little bit different, and I think we'll get into that a little bit later on. But what I do as a criminologist is I work with former criminals who've got first-hand experience of committing fraud and cybercrime, and I work with former police, crucially, to utilise their expertise and their insights, and we use that for crime prevention, whether that be fraud, financial crime, cybercrime. Ultimately, we try and help protect businesses from criminal attack. So that's where I come in as a criminologist to help with that.
Wonderful. We Fight Fraud, quite an interesting title for a business. Could you tell us a little bit about We Fight Fraud, and more importantly, how did it come about?
Yeah, so We Fight Fraud, like I said, it's a little bit of unusual company. We've got my co-directors are two of them are former criminals. There's Tony Sales, who is also at GISEC this year. He was known as Britain's greatest fraudster until he turned his life around about 15 years ago and decided he wanted to make right his wrongs and use what he knew to help protect against fraud. One of the other partners is Solomon Gilbert, who's a former hacker. He was picked up by the National Crime Agency when he was just 17 with a lot of things on his computer that he shouldn't have had. And he was given a choice. You can go down this path. It's probably going to end up in some prison time, or you can work with us and put your skills to good. And that's what he decided to do. I also work with Andy MacDonald, who is the head of counter-terrorist financing and fraud at New Scotland Yard and in the Met. I myself am a criminologist, and the other co-founder of We Fight Fraud is a film director called Adam Boom. And we all came together, this kind of different mix of people, to focus on financial crime prevention and preventing cybercrime. We use our knowledge and expertise to attack businesses, so we do vulnerability testing, and we approach it as though we're a criminal group, and that's what makes us different. So we're not looking necessarily at traditional pen testing or checkbox kind of vulnerability testing. We're looking at if a criminal group is going to hit you, how are they going to hit you? Give you that knowledge. We report back those vulnerabilities so that businesses can stop future criminal attacks. Like I said, it's not traditional cyber pen testing, so we often work alongside cybersecurity specialists to do that form of they do that form of pen testing, and we take this totally different and fairly unique approach to understanding vulnerabilities so that ultimately we can protect businesses and make sure that they're stronger, more resilient, promote their corporate resilience and protect them against criminal attack.
An interesting combination of very unusual people, and I'm sure you've got your hands full keeping these guys on the straight and narrow. You touched on something just earlier on, talking about the fact that yourself and one of your co-directors will be attending GISEC this year. And as you know, GISEC's probably the leading cybersecurity conference and expo in the UAE annually. And it's one of the main reasons why we reached out to you today, was to talk a little bit about the fact that here we are, two people from the UK that have never met before are going to both attend GISEC and catch up and have a good old natter. Tell us a little bit about what you'll be doing at GISEC. What's the plan for you there?
So in terms of the session that I'll be doing at GISEC, I'll be delivering a comprehensive training session essentially to help businesses know they're criminal. That's my focus. And when in like the world of fraud and financial crime, we often talk about KYC. When you're bringing new customers onto your systems, everyone wants to do KYC, which is know your customer. And we say, actually, if you're going to do this, you need to know your criminal. So I'll be using all my criminology expertise, and I'll show excerpts that we filmed from our testing to demonstrate how we have done things like bypass biometric identity verification to open up 3 UK bank accounts in one of our 72-hour rapid response tests. I'll talk about the vulnerabilities that we're seeing and how you can overcome them. Now, I'm not a technical cybersecurity expert. I am a criminologist, so I take a really holistic view at the problem, and then I work with experts. So I'm not going to sit there and say, you need to implement this or implement that. What I'm going to do is give you an overview of how the different parts fit together, how we can take tech solutions, cybersecurity, but also include human behaviour, awareness, knowledge and insights to fully protect your organisation from a holistic point of view. So that's what I'll be doing in my session. But ultimately, whilst I'm there, I want to network with as many people as possible, get to know people in the industry. Like I said, I'm not or I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a cybersecurity expert. So I'm there to learn as well, learn from other people and see how we can all work together to help protect businesses, organisations and individuals from crime.
Well, I can assure you about one thing, you will be overwhelmed with the networking opportunities at GISEC. There is so much going on. And I guess it brings me to my next question. Given that there is so much going on, I guess what I would like to know is who, and more importantly, why should anyone attend your session? Why would you say that your session's one not to be missed?
I think with this session, it's going to be a different approach, and so the session's designed really for people who are in leaderships positions within any organisation, whether that be financial services, critical infrastructure, government, retail, whatever organisation you're there to represent. If you're in a position to influence your policy and practice, if you're looking for technical solutions, if you're looking to really understand the threat that criminals pose to your organisation because you want to do something about it to help protect who you work for, your company or your organisation, then you should come to the session. It's going to help you to think about how you can protect your organisation. I'm not going to have all the answers, but I'm definitely going to help you be able to think through, okay, actually, that happened in their test. Could that happen in our systems? Could that be something that would happen in the context of our operations? And if it did happen, what would it mean for our organisation? How would we be resilient to this type of attack? And how would we ultimately get over it? So the way you should use my session is part of your business's strategic corporate data resilience planning and governance planning, really to try and help you, ultimately we can all learn from each other in this, and hopefully what I can bring in this session is some key thinking points that you can go away back to your organisation and implement yourself to stay safe.
Well, you're absolutely right. I think one of the things you just touched on there was the fact that we can all learn from each other. And I'm getting on in my years, but I do believe that every day is a school day. And I'll be delighted to say that we will be there filming your session, so no pressure, because obviously we're really keen to understand what you do. And I'm going to jump ahead of myself here and get ahead of it and say to you, in your session, at the end of the session, what would be the call to action that you would generally say to those participants that attend your session? So one call to action only, what would it be?
Know your criminal, know your vulnerabilities, however you think that is best in your organisation, whether that is get a vulnerability test, ensure that you are fully aware of how criminals may attack you. That's your starting point. Is that we can all, knowing our strengths is good, being strong on your cybersecurity or at the front door or what have you, but really you knowing your vulnerabilities first means that you can protect. So coming out of it, if at the very least performing your own risk assessments, but ideally getting someone external, whether it be We Fight Fraud or someone else, to come and test your vulnerabilities so that you know what you're up against is what I would ask.
Know your criminal. There we go. We have a few police officers joining us as well, so that'll be an interesting statement for me to tell them. Make sure you know your criminal. Obviously, Nicola, we had a limited time this morning. We really do appreciate you taking the time out to join us. I'm intrigued. I'm really looking forward to meeting you in Dubai, meeting obviously your co-director and listening to what you've both got to say. And I have no doubt that you're going to be overwhelmed with the amount of interest that you're going to have. We Talk Cyber is going to be there. We're going to be there en masse. We're going to be covering the whole event, including Nicola's session. So you will get to see sound bites from that session. Please remember, if you like the channel, to subscribe below. I will include Nicola's contact details so you can reach out to her. All that remains for me to say is, Dr. Nicola Harding, thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you at GISEC in Dubai. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.